We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Whoa, yeah, yeah. 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 We are going. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah. We are going. Whoa, yeah, yeah.
Happy New Year and welcome to our fellowship. We are a spiritually alive, radically inclusive, and justice-centered multi-generational community. And we are so glad that you are here today. A couple of quick orienting announcements for everyone at the beginning of January. On Sundays, we premiere our services at 9 a.m. on Facebook and 11 a.m. on YouTube. If you miss it in the morning, you can watch it later in the day or throughout the week. Most of our services include a time for all ages, for families, children, and youth, really for all of us. And the two services are followed by coffee hour on Zoom at 10 a.m. and also at noon. Coffee hour is a social 45 minutes. You can come for part of it or all of it. The first 10 to 15 minutes is where ministers, staff, and volunteers share announcements about our fellowship and also members' significant milestones. It's an opportunity to find out about upcoming events which happen on Sundays and throughout the week, as well as about who in our community might need a little extra caring at this time. The second 15 minutes is a time of connecting in small groups, and the final 15 minutes is a chance to meet with a second small group of people. Again, feel free to stay for 15 or 30 or the whole 45 minutes. It's up to you. On Sundays, we also have children's classes and youth group, which meet on Zoom between the two services and opposite the first coffee hour at 10. If you have children in your life, children, grandchildren, nieces or nephews, or friends or neighbors' children, you might want to let them and their families know about our offerings. As our offerings are virtual right now, there's no commute, so it is a great time to check it out. I know that my third grader gets a lift from spending time with his classmates and friends in a curriculum which involves building Lego and building a set of guiding values for his life. Once a month, instead of class, there is a children's and family chapel at 10 a.m. Today, that is the case. About 8 or 9 times a year, we have multi-generational worships at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., where the whole hour is geared towards the family. One of the highlight examples of this is when our junior youth group, the coming of age class, shares their credos, a snapshot of what they believe in the middle of May. Many of our holiday services are part of those multi-gens as well. The recent solstice service and the upcoming MLK Sunday are other examples. If you are new to the fellowship, I encourage you to sign up for our next Getting to Know UU class. It's a 3-part series on Sundays, January 24th through February 7th from 1 to 2:30. And if you've never taken the class, I encourage you to consider taking it. You can find the links for everything that I've mentioned on our website at www.muuf.org/virtual. And now let us center our hearts and minds for worship. It is good to be. It is good to be here. It is so good to be here together.
Good morning, and welcome to our community. We open our service by lighting our chalice this morning, and we invite you to do the same with your chalice or a candle at home.
We'll also share an opening responsive reading written for New Year's Day by Reverend Kathleen McTigue while we light the shared symbol of our faith.
The 1st of January is another day dawning, the sun rising as the sun also rises, the earth moving in its rhythms.
With or without our calendars, to name a certain day as the day of new beginning, separating the old from the new.
So it is. Everything is the same, bound into history as we ourselves are bound.
Yet also we stand at a threshold, the new year something truly new, still unformed, leaving a stunning power in our hands.
What shall we do with this great gift of time this year?
Let us begin by remembering that whatever justice, whatever peace and wholeness might bloom in our world this year,
we are the hearts and the minds, the hands and the feet, the embodiment of all the best visions of our people.
the new year can be new ground for the seeds of our dreams.
Let us take the step forward together onto new ground.
Planting our dreams well, faithfully and in joy.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When when our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Good morning. Our story for all ages is written by Susan Verde and illustrated by Peter Reynolds. Susan Verde was inspired by Dalai Lama's quote, "Just as ripples spread out when a single pebble is dropped into water, the actions of individuals can have far-reaching effects." I Am One, a book of action. How do I make a difference? It seems like a tall order for one so small. But beautiful things start with just one. One seed to start a garden. One stroke to start a masterpiece. One note to start a melody. One step to start a journey. One brick to start breaking down walls. And I can speak one gentle word to start a conversation. I can use my one soft voice to start a friendship. I can perform one act of kindness to start a connection. I can share one tender hug to start caring. I can light one candle to start leading the way. I can make one drop in the water to start ripples that become swells, then waves. Traveling over oceans, across borders and boundaries, landing on distant shores, to start a chain reaction, inspire a movement, make a change. I am one, and I can take action. We are each one, and we can take action. One by one, we can make a difference. Because one is all it takes to start something beautiful.
I invite you to join me in a practice of metta meditation, a loving kindness meditation. In this practice, we direct loving kindness towards ourselves, and then we expand outwards towards someone we love, someone we're neutral about, someone we're having a challenge with, and ultimately the whole world, all human beings, all creatures. Let us begin. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and exhale out slowly. Let's do that 2 times together. Now center in yourself, in your heart, and in your being. May I be well. May my spirit be at ease. May I find comfort in the midst of sorrow. and courage in the midst of trials. May I find connection even in the midst of isolation. May I radiate peace within and without. Now concentrate on someone that you love. It could be anyone you want to bring to mind in this moment, and send them loving energy. May you be well. May your spirit be at ease. May you find comfort in the midst of sorrow and courage in the midst of trials. May you find connection even in a time of isolation. May you radiate peace within and without. Now bring to mind someone you're neutral about, an acquaintance. It could be the mail carrier, a grocery store clerk, anyone. Turn your mind and heart towards them and send attention their way. May you be well. May your spirit be at ease. May you find comfort in the midst of sorrow and courage in the midst of trials. May you find connection even in this time of isolation. And may you radiate peace within and peace without. Now think of someone with whom you're having a challenge or a conflict. It could be a simple matter or a much larger one. It's up to you and what you feel like today. Now send that person care and kindness and attention. May you be well. May your spirit be at ease. May you find comfort in the midst of sorrow and courage in the face of trials. May you find connection even in a time of isolation. And may you radiate peace within and without. And finally, let us take one final deep breath in and out as we radiate loving kindness round the world. May all beings be well. May their spirits be at ease. May they find comfort in the midst of sorrow and courage when facing trials. May they find connection in the midst of isolation. And may all beings radiate peace within and without.
We are on a journey, we're traveling to wholeness, we're building on the pathways of those who came before us. We are called to justice, freedom, equality, truth, compassion, were misdirected, and paths were not completed. New roads must be erected, old obstacles defeated. We are called to justice, freedom, equality, truth, compassion, and always love. We're widening our highway on our journey to completeness. Our tunnels come through hatred, our bridges span between us. We are called to justice, freedom, equality, truth, compassion, and always love. Together we love stronger, together we love sooner, together we love longer, together we love truer. We are called to justice, freedom, equality, truth, compassion, and always love. Always love.
Time and relationships are what ultimately define us. 2020 was challenging for many reasons, but chief among them is that the pandemic brought home the possibility that our lives could be cut short at any moment. And the same is true for the people we love, the people we like, and all the people that we know intimately or distantly. People from school, work, our congregation, our neighborhood, our Facebook groups, our favorite authors and actors, the stores we frequent, the mail carrier, the people whose lives we hear about in the local and global news. Everyone. The word pandemic comes from the Greek pan and demos, meaning all and people. Well, it was already true in 2019 that we and all the people who we feel connected to in the human family could meet our end at any moment. We didn't feel that way or necessarily live out of that truth. What is more, thankfully, the specter of that threat does not usually hover over everyone at the same time. Even natural disasters and wars generally have a location. A global pandemic threatens most or all of human life around the world basically at the same time. The global scale of the threat, the idea that everyone we know could cease to exist out of time and out of relationship on earth, can be overwhelming. On one hand, we know that some people won't get infected, and most will survive even if they are infected. On the other hand, the randomness of who will suffer greatly or die has us worry about everyone we are connected to in big and small ways. Some may even find it is too much and will retreat emotionally for a little while or a long while, not wanting to listen to the news or willfully not believing it. The fact that we now have 2 vaccines and more in development is a huge relief in terms of spiritual, emotional, and physical suffering. The fact that it was developed on such a rapid timeline and that it is the first messenger mRNA approved vaccine is a miracle of modern science. I hope that all of you who are able will get vaccinated as soon as it is offered to you. See, I crave that relief too. The lessening of worry about the people that I love. And when I have a chance to be vaccinated, the lessening of worry about my own personal health. However, I hope that as the vaccine penetrates deeper and deeper into the population, that we won't slink back into an amnesia-like state of forgetting who we are now. I hope we will remember that we are interwoven with all the communities on earth, which brings a depth and breadth to the meaning of our days, and that our well-being is inextricably linked. While we may be isolating right now, we are connected, and we always have been and will be. Right now, many of us are suffering because of the threat that people will suffer and that lives have been and will continue to be cut short. Right now, we can see that our actions can make a difference in the numbers of people who will get sick or experience suffering, loss, or death. Right now, we miss the people we ordinarily see around a sanctuary or a table or at work or at school, or the people we would normally greet and hug at a memorial service. We even miss those we only see once in a while. That is exactly why we do things like wear masks, stay home when we can, get tested, and eventually get vaccinated. That is why we modified aspects of our healthcare system to be accessible for testing and treatment to care for all who are sick with COVID-19, regardless of their ability to pay. Not to say that there are not still clear inequities in the system. That is also how we built the collective political will to help people who are unemployed or underemployed and struggling to pay bills for their family or their business through federal efforts like the CARES Act and local efforts like the Morris Area New Jersey Together Rent Relief Fund or the Adopt a Business in Morristown and also in other towns. In 2020, we gained greater courage in facing the truth that the pandemic isn't affecting all people equally. People who identify as Black, Indigenous, and people of color have been infected and also become sicker at much higher rates. I remember sitting around a Zoom table of interfaith colleagues in New Jersey last spring when an African American pastor described that we were living through a plague. And a white colleague objected to the use of that language and shared they felt it was too dramatic. All across America and here in New Jersey, the impact of the virus has varied along lines of class, race, immigration status, and age. Some groups could see the death toll rising before others were even awake to the pandemic's presence. As the curtain rises on Act 1, Scene 1 of 2021, I hope that our characters will continue to be molded by the wisdom born out of tragedy and the willingness to do things differently for the sake of family, friend, and stranger. I cannot wait for the pandemic to end, but I hope that we won't stop collectively devoting a portion of our precious time to actions both big and small that lead to collective well-being. May we live into the Dalai Lama's admonition or invitation, depending upon how you hear it. Just as ripples spread out when a single pebble is dropped into the water, the actions of individuals can have far-reaching effects. Our behavior in 2020, at least some of it, brings me hope that we may be inoculating ourselves with something else alongside of the vaccine. I believe it's compassion, which means to suffer with. It's about empathy and not just sympathy. Our suffering and others' suffering, although always in different measure, unites us. We see our tears reflected in each other's eyes. We are changed by the knowledge that we are all vulnerable. We all grieve. We can all fall down. And we can all rise, especially if we are together. While there is a tendency to focus on mask wearers and non-mask wearers, the two groups as separate, there's another way of telling the story. Over time, the number of people who wear masks has steadily increased. Now, wearing masks is a practice that protects ourselves and others. 90% of people today wear a mask at least some of the time, and 70% all or most of the time. Sure, some of that is because of requirements of schools or offices or stores, and some people may be wearing masks only for themselves. But the vast majority are doing it voluntarily for the sake of their health, but for the sake of others, for the sake of the well-being of all. It's a small sacrifice, and there have been many additional large sacrifices made, such as those made by people on the front line of healthcare. Many have had to spend time away from families. Many have experienced loss after loss, including of fellow healthcare workers. These daily acts of compassion and courage fuel my hope that the 20s might be defined by a renewed sense that we can come together in the face of extraordinary challenges like the ones we face now. Pandemics and rising poverty, racism, and increasing environmental degradation. That we can allow ourselves to take in what the sciences and the social sciences tell us will alleviate suffering, and we can and will adapt our behavior, taking new steps towards a healthier and more holistic future. Just think how much easier it will be to do all of that when we can rush into the warmth of day, the warmth of community, and dance and sing and hug. Perhaps the lesson is that as a people, our citizens and our residents, we're physically together, but in many ways still apart. Now we are learning how to be physically apart, but we are together and acting more often with together in mind. May 2021 be the year that we come together physically and come together in the struggle and in the joy, in the sacrifice and in the rewards. Each of us can do this in different ways, guided by those seeds that compassion is watering in our hearts. So what will it be for you this year? Will you plant a garden in your backyard or with others in the center of town? Will you join with artists and poets and playwrights and songwriters capturing the meaning of this time and imagining a different future? Will you join a protest, advocate for equity, run for office? Will you mentor or teach? Will you take the first step towards your health, or inspired by others, will you become a healer, a doctor, a nurse? Will you forgive or ask to be forgiven? Will you use your privilege for liberation? Will you be changed by what we've been through? Whatever you choose, instead of resolutions this year, why not conscript yourself to the revolution of love that ripples out to include all the living? What better way is there to spend your precious gift of time?
One more step. We will take one more step till there is peace on earth for everyone. We'll take one more step. One more word. We will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer. We will say one more prayer till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song. We will sing one more song till every song is heard by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
Our closing words are by Edward Everett Hale. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah.